What up, gamers? It is Wood, and welcome to the Fusion Calendar event for Mavara the Web Diviner. Now, what resources do we want to be saving for this event? Well, first of all, you probably want to be sitting on around 500 to 1,000 gems, just so you can get yourself through the Gear Hunters events. The Gear Hunters events are going to be a little bit less intensive because we are only having 2 for this calendar. Now, I'll talk about that in a minute. Secondly, you're also going to want some Spirit Affinity Potions, I'd say about 25 of the big ones, to make sure you can train up these Stonebound anyway. Yeah, just so you can ascend up those champions. And finally, let's talk about the Shards. So, we have a Summon Rush this Friday and a Champion Chase starting next Friday. Now, of course, for the Summon Rush, it's about 6 or 7 Sacred Shards. They've been leaning towards 7 these days, or at least 6.5. So expect to spend around 6 or 7 Sacred Shards here. Now, it is unclear whether this is going to be Ancient Shards. It's very hard to see, I apologize. A 2x on Ancient Shards or a 2x on Sacred Shards. We don't know. The regular schedule would suggest that it would be a 2x on Sacred Shards, because that's what we usually get after a Void 2x, which you just had for the Champion Chase last weekend. So what I would say is commit to this Summon Rush. Make sure you get this one done. This one's very important. Get this Summon Rush done, and try and prepare as many Broadmoors, Relic Keepers, Fragment Fusions in your Summon Portal. Make sure you have all of these Stonebounds. You can get at least 3 to summon during this Champ Chase tournament before you actually get enough fragments to summon this 4th one. And then, of course, you can summon the 4th one during this event. So make sure we have all of these ready. And the 4th one once you're done. And then, of course, Mavara herself to summon during this Champion Chase, just to minimize the amount of points that you need to make up. And, of course, you can also use Mystery Shards. I recommend saving Mystery Shards for this Champ Chase as well, because it is very unclear whether we're going to have a 2x or on Ancients or a 2x on Sacreds, but my bet is probably Sacreds. This is a good fusion. I imagine that Plarium are going to make it difficult. So if you're going to do this purely on Sacreds, it's very inefficient. I wouldn't recommend doing it, but I think it's around like 10, could be 15, 10 to 15 Sacred Shards. It depends on how bad it is and how unlucky you are. The reason why we don't want to be doing Sacred Shards for this event is because the value per Sacred is really, really poor. So try and avoid doing this if possible. Now, what do we have for the rest of the week? Well, at the start of the week, we have CVC still ongoing. My apologies. CV still happening while I'm making this video. So I am also farming up this Gear Hunters alongside the Finite Tournament, alongside the CVC as well for that triple dippage action. And then, of course, we've got the 3 Gear Hunters events throughout the week, and for that you're going to need about 15 million silver to begin the fusion with. You'll earn up enough to be able to complete these as you go. Just make sure you pick up the fragments and leave it there if you're strapped for silver. And then, of course, we've got Champ Training. You can double dip Champ Training and Gear Hunters around about here. Try and farm up as much of a campaign as you can during this section of Gear Hunters. I should be using a better pen. I apologize. Let me quickly fix that. Let's go with a red pen. There you go. Try and connect these dots here like this. You might as well get the double dippage there. Campaign gives you a surprising amount of points for Gear Hunters as long as you're farming Brutal 3. And I say Brutal 3 because Mystery Shards are more useful than the extra XP you get from Nightmare, so make sure you farm around here. Now, of course, we've got this Ice Golem tournament, which doesn't align with any sort of Gear Hunters event, which is a bit of a shame, so you might have to farm this on its own. And then of course we've got Classic Arena, Takedown. These are easy. I'm not going to explain how to do these. All you have to do is play the game. Now in this section here, we have a massive gap, right? And in previous fusions, and pretty much every fusion, we've had a third Gear Hunters event in this section. But we only have 2 this time. So in previous events, when this has happened, there is usually a mystery event around like here. So we're going to be expecting a... Hang on, let's put it in the bottom. So we could be expecting some sort of mystery event here without fragments in it. This could be a deck of fate, or it could be a hero's path. It could be a deck or a hero's path. So if you're not looking to do the Mavara Fusion, you could look to save up some resources for this. We don't know what's going to be in it. Not necessarily going to be a guaranteed champion. There's no IP events going on, but it's possible that this could be some sort of maybe relic, deck of fate, or something of the sort. Now that would mean that you could double dip dragon in here with this deck or this hero's path, since it's going to be gear hunters of some kind, since we have a champ training tournament ending right here and a champ training event starting around here. So I wouldn't expect those to be a third champ training tournament in the middle, and since we're missing a gear hunters, I think it aligns pretty well. Now towards the end of the week, we've got this spider tournament here aligning with the gear hunters tournament here. So make sure you guys are farming these at the same time. It's pretty much impossible not to, since they align exactly, but keep it in mind. And then of course we've got the champ training event down here. Now you can of course double dip to this point with the gear hunters event and the champ training, just for some easier extra points. It will save you a few gems just blasting into gear hunters in these sections. Always try and line up the champ training with the gear hunters when you can. Now of course, make sure you are training your stone bounds during this champ training event here. Make sure to do it here. Train these up. You could also train during the first champ training tournament. I won't draw a line because it'll be messy, but as you can see, you could get 1 or 2 of these stone bounds, but I still wouldn't do it because you kind of want to save... No! Okay, we're back. Because you kind of want to save summoning your stone bounds until the champion chase, right? So I would recommend summoning for the champion chase and then training your Thisps afterwards from about this point. Okay, so yeah, that's going to be the fusion schedule for Mavara the Web Diviner. It's an interesting one. Of course, we have this hidden event, so stay on your toes. I didn't get the early access image like the rest of the world did with their videos, so I apologize for it coming out later, but it is what it is. Just as a reminder, these extra fragments down here, these are for tournament wins, specifically the champion chase tournament. So do not rely on these here. You're looking at 400 in total to be able to summon all 4 Thisps. So these points are not counted into the equation, because the chance that you're going to win a champion chase tournament, especially at the end of the week, it's quite a gamble, are very low. So make sure you're getting every single event done. If you miss one event, you're not going to be able to complete this fusion. So yeah, anyways, that'll be it from me today. Let me know down below if you're going to go for this fusion. I recommend everyone does, whether you think it's going to be ancients or sacreds. Again, I think it's going to be 2x sacreds, but let's hope for 2x ancients. Alright, that'll be it from me. See you in the next one.